Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 3 of Mother of Migraines Highs and Lows. For those of you who haven't seen the previous or prior 2 videos, I have challenged myself to share my highs and lows. Highs and lows were things that I used to ask my kids when they were younger, usually at bedtime, but sometimes at dinner, to share what their high and their lows are, just to sort of validate that, some things aren't super comfortable all the time, and then also to emphasize that we always have something to be grateful for. So that's why I'm doing this. I personally suffer from a chronic illness, so I'm in pain 99.9% of the time. So a lot of time that's my low. Today is no different or a little different. I've recently been getting really dizzy with certain migraines, and so that's been happening yesterday and today. Makes it really difficult to sort of try to push through. Pushing through is hard anyway, but then when I'm really dizzy and unable to even take the dogs outside or do something without fear of falling down. So yeah, that would definitely be my low today. There's Scooby. He's always got to make an appearance. And then my high for today is that though I did not feel well, I still got up and got dressed and fixed my hair, and because sometimes that helps, just to feel like I at least look like a normal person, even though I don't feel like a normal person. It just helps. I don't know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not licensed in anything, but, so I don't know the psychology of that, but, it just makes me feel like a person. When a lot of times when I'm not able to get out of bed or, not able to keep up with my housework or any of that stuff, I start to not feel like a human being. I start to feel like a burden on the people around me, and and that feeds depression and blah 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 blah, all of those things, anxiety and insomnia, and so I've been trying to keep myself out of that. So some of my highs for today are going to seem a little silly, but one of them is that I got curtains. I got curtains for my dining room, and they were super duper duper cheap, which your girl loves a cheap thing. I love things on sale. So I was really happy to be able to get them up. The curtains that were here before were like this, I don't know, you can see the color of my walls. They're like beige, and then the trim is like darker beige. My whole house is very beige. So she had curtains in the windows that were like maybe a little more yellowy, but they were still pretty beige. It was awful. So I was very happy to get up new curtains that are more my style, which, I'm having fun figuring out, what's my style, what do I like, and what can I put up without having to ask someone else's opinion or permission, I guess. When you have a partner, you generally, what do you think? Should we buy these curtains or what? And if they hate them, then you can't get them or whatever. Anyway, so I'm really grateful that I was able to get myself some really cheap curtains. What else was I gonna say? Oh, I know. Sorry. Migraine brain doesn't always comply with what I'm trying to do, which is part of why I can't teach anymore. Like, I'm in pain a lot, so I can't really teach anyway because it's too much. It's too stressful and too everything. But a lot of time it takes me a really long time to complete thoughts. I thought about writing myself a script. Like, I know people do that. But I feel like that would just, for me, I don't think it's for anybody else, but for me, I think it would come across too orchestrated and not as organic as just sort of spouting what I am happy for, my highs and lows. So yeah, I'm super grateful to have this, this platform to do this, whether people decide to follow me or not. It would be nice. I would love to see other people's highs and lows. I mean, that's really part of it for me as well, is I know that there's a therapeutic value in one person helping another who share something in common. And it doesn't have to be chronic illness. It doesn't have to be depression. It doesn't have to be addiction. It doesn't have to be anything. It could be anything that you're struggling with. I want people to be able to connect with other people and know that they're not alone. Because I know a lot of people feel alone. This world can be very isolating. It's been very isolating for me. Even before COVID, like, that's kind of how I lived anyway. Like, I wasn't really leaving the house. I wasn't interacting with people. So, here, now that I have moved to a different climate, I do tend to get outside a little bit more, and I don't feel quite as agoraphobic or, I don't feel quite as trapped inside my house as I used to. So I suppose that's another high. But yeah, it's really, for me, it's just finding balance. And when I was very young, I had gone to a 12-step meeting. Another thing, I guess, to share, just to preface so you know what this means, I have been in recovery from addiction since I was a teenager. I went to my first meeting when I was 14, and I got clean when I was 17. So anyway, so early on, I heard someone say that pain is the joy of living. And it took me a long time to understand that. I was very just covered in darkness a lot. It was really difficult for me, as it is for most, to stay clean and to relate to people because, I was young. I was lucky there were a couple of other young people there, but that's not always the case for some people. But anyway, so that aggravated me at the time because I was just in pain. I was in pain. I hadn't lived experience of joy at that time. So, but as the years went by, I started to pick up on it. Like, my grandmother passed away, and it was devastating. It was painful, but it was also the joy of living. Like, part of living is loving other people and other people loving you. And when you lose that, yeah, it's horrible. It's devastating, but it's also a blessing. It was a blessing for me to have her in my life. And I miss her all the time. And I've lost a lot of people since then, and today is actually the 2-year anniversary of the death of one of my closest friends, and grief is just so difficult. It's cyclical, and I start to think, oh, I'm feeling a little better, and then I feel guilty that I feel a little bit better, and then out of nowhere I just am not better. I just miss him, and I yell at him, and I scream at him that how dare he leave us, all of us. But again, that pain means that I loved him, and I know he loved me. I'm sorry, I didn't expect to do that. I don't apologize for feeling feelings. I just didn't plan on feeling them while I was doing this. Anyway, you just don't it's hard to believe for me that it's been 2 years already. Like, it's just sort of flying by, and the more time that goes by, the more I miss him. It doesn't get easier. It gets harder. I don't want to forget his face. I don't want to forget his laugh. And he had the best laugh. Anyway, yeah, totally off the cuff. Maybe I should write scripts. I don't know. Anyway, so that is me for today. Many highs and many lows. Yeah, and like I said before, please feel free to share yours with me or share yours with someone, because they're both important. Your highs and your lows, your pain and your joy are all important. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.